Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, we need to have a serious talk today. We are diving deep into a topic where, frankly, way too many incredibly smart students are bleeding massive, easy marks: the purpose and limitations of the trial balance. Let's be real for a second. If you're studying for the Cambridge 9706 accounting exams, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've put in the hours, right? You've balanced the ledgers, you've conquered the suspense accounts, and you feel invincible. But then you turn the page, and the exam hits you with a massive high tariff question. We're talking 9 to 15 marks, asking you to explain the limitations of the trial balance or to evaluate its usefulness to a specific business. Suddenly, the math stops, the writing starts, and the marks just seem to vanish into thin air. Well, not anymore. Today, I am putting on my Master Coach hat, and we are going to provide you with the exact strategic framework you need to unlock those top-tier bands. We are pulling directly from principal examiner reports to show you what actually works, what completely fails, and how to think exactly like the person who holds your final grade in their hands. This isn't just about accounting. This is a masterclass in exam strategy.
Here is our strategic roadmap for this session. First, core principles and assessment objectives. Second, the procedural framework. Third, evaluation and critical analysis. And finally, top examiner warnings. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. Core Principles and Assessment Objectives. Okay, look closely at this breakdown. Success on this exam absolutely does not start with blindly memorizing a textbook. It begins with understanding the specific cognitive domains the examiner is targeting. I call this the anatomy of a command word. Cambridge assessment objectives for this topic explicitly target three distinct areas. The first is knowledge and understanding. This is your basic baseline recall of what a trial balance actually is. But then we move up the ladder to analysis and evaluation. Successful candidates must demonstrate deep competence across all three levels. Superficial memorization might scrape you a passing grade, but to get those high tariff points, you have to decode the command words. Let me contrast these for you. When a question says analyze, it is asking you to break down the trial balance, identify the moving parts, and show how a specific error impacts the ledger. You're structuring data. But when the command word is evaluate, that's a whole different ballgame. Evaluating means you are passing a justified judgment on the quality of the evidence. Similarly, if a question asks you to explain, you're just providing a factual reason. But if it says to what extent, you now have to weigh up two competing sides of an argument and make a conclusive recommendation. You have to prove you can think critically beyond just crunching the numbers.
And that brings us to this absolutely crucial concept, the method mark strategy. This is an assessment framework principle where marks are awarded for the process of logical, structured reasoning and analytical depth. Hear this loud and clear because it's a total game changer. Showing your clear working and systematic analysis is an absolute non-negotiable requirement. Examiners aren't just scanning the bottom of the page for the final numeric answer. If you make a tiny, silly arithmetic error early on, maybe you punch the wrong number into your calculator in the pressure of the moment, but you apply the exact correct logic and procedures throughout the rest of the 15-mark problem, the method mark strategy ensures you still get heavily rewarded for your analytical depth. It's like a safety net for your grade, but that net only catches you if you leave a trail of breadcrumbs for the examiner to follow. Do not just write down final numbers. Expose your thought process. Show your work.
So here's the million-dollar question. Why do students find evaluating evidence and drawing conclusions so hard? I want you to picture two of my top students in a digital study suite right now. Let's call them Alex and Sam. They are staring at this exact question on a past paper. Alex is highly technical. Give Alex a formula or complex ledger and it's solved in seconds. But Alex struggles with open-ended evaluation. Sam, on the other hand, is a super creative thinker, fantastic at building arguments, but struggles with structural precision and managing the ticking clock. They're debating how to answer a 12-mark evaluation prompt. Alex says, look, a trial balance is just a mathematical check. If debits equal credits, we're good. Let's just write a list of errors that don't affect it and move on. But Sam fires back, no way, Alex. What about the context? We need a huge essay on the conceptual framework of the business. They represent the two extremes, and both are going to lose marks. Why? Because we are so trained to find the one right numerical answer that we struggle when asked to step back and systematically evaluate the gray areas. We need a bridge between Alex's factual lists and Sam's broad essays. Section 2. The procedural framework. To build that bridge for Alex and Sam, and for you, we need a standardized sequence. This is the exact procedural framework required by Cambridge to dissect complex past paper problems. Step 1. Deconstruct the question and extract data. This means literally taking a mental highlighter and isolating the hidden constraints of the prompt. Step 2. Select your analytical framework. Are we talking about errors of omission or errors of principle? Step 3. Execute with clear working. Alex loves this step. This is where you deploy your notations and lock in those method marks. Step 4. Verify your results. And step 5. Present with correct terminology. This is where Sam needs to focus, reining in the creative essay and using strict accounting vocabulary. While debating this, Alex pushes for a purely factual layout, just bullet points. Sam argues for paragraphs of debate. The truth? To unlock the top-tier assessment objectives, AO1, AO2, and AO3, you need both. You need Alex's technical accuracy wrapped in Sam's evaluative narrative. By extracting the relevant text and applying correct formats, you build a professional response that an examiner can seamlessly navigate and grade.
Section 3, Evaluation and Critical Analysis.
Okay, pause right there. Before we crack open the absolute hardest part of this paper, and trust me, this next concept is where the A stars are separated from the Bs, I have a quick challenge for you. If you are serious about crushing your Cambridge exams, you need consistent strategy. So right now, take 1 second to hit that subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE O and A levels at the handle @acetheexam_IGCE. Enable all notifications, hit that bell so you literally never miss a weekly Cambridge breakthrough strategy. Done? Awesome. Now back to our digital study suite. Alex and Sam are drafting a model response paragraph by paragraph on evaluating evidence quality, and they've just hit a massive roadblock. They're looking at the limitations. Alex types, "The trial balance is limited because it doesn't show errors of omission." Full stop. Let me tell you, the examiner reads that and gives it a minimal mark. Why? Because it lacks analytical depth. I literally have to pause their session, step in, and explain the cognitive strategy. You don't just state a limitation. You must identify the limitation, note the assumptions made by the business in the scenario, consider alternative interpretations, and crucially, assess the effect on the final conclusions. Why does that error of omission matter to this specific director making this specific decision? That is what the examiner is desperately searching for.
Let's look at how we fix Alex and Sam's flawed section and turn it into a flawless, full-mark response through comparative analysis. The mediocre answer just lists similarities and differences. The flawless answer uses comparative connectives like similarly, conversely, or in contrast to identify similarities and then aggressively supports differences with hard, numerical evidence from the prompt. We sit down and rewrite their paragraph out loud. Instead of saying method A is better, we rewrite it to say, while both approaches utilize the trial balance to verify arithmetical accuracy, method B is significantly more robust for this specific firm, as evidenced by the $4,000 suspense account variance caused by the compensating error. Do you hear the difference? That is a master-level transition. You are explicitly comparing the approaches and drawing hard conclusions about their relative importance.
Section 4, Top Examiner Warnings. We are now entering an immersive workshop segment of this masterclass. Pay close attention. Based on analyzing thousands of past papers, there are exactly 3 specific, recurring traps that examiners see year after year when grading the purpose and limitations of the trial balance. 3 traps, that's it. If you can anticipate and avoid these 3, you're instantly catapulting yourself ahead of the vast majority of candidates. Let's start scene 1 of our visual workshop, source analysis. Look closely at the quote on your screen. This is a direct examiner alert. The classic mistake is providing generic answers not specific to the question context. I want you to imagine a 60-second visual countdown timer ticking away right now. You are in the exam hall. You have 1 minute to analyze a business that just discovered a massive error of principle. They bought a delivery van and put it in the motor expenses account. The timer is ticking. Most students will panic and write a beautiful textbook definition of an error of principle. 0 marks for context. This is a high-stakes intervention. If you don't mention the specific business, the specific delivery van, the specific figures, you will bleed points. Examiners literally cringe at generic textbook-style answers. You must anchor every single point to the given scenario. Time's up. Did you link it to the scenario? If not, rewrite it in your head right now. Now for scene 2 of our workshop, Spot the Flaw. I'm going to walk you through a poorly written student answer based on these top 3 mistakes. Mistake 1, confusing cause and effect. Mistake 2, forgetting format and presentation checks. Mistake 3, providing answers without context. Imagine a student writes this paragraph. The error made the profit wrong. We should fix it. Errors of omission mean nothing was recorded. Okay, let's systematically dissect that. First flaw. The error made the profit wrong. That's confusing cause and effect, and it lacks precision. By how much? In what direction? Second flaw. The presentation is an absolute mess. There's no clear formatting or working shown. Third flaw. Errors of omission mean nothing was recorded. That is a totally contextless generic statement. Professional presentation and hyper-specific context matter just as much as knowing your core accounting principles. Let's double down on that first major pitfall because it's the deadliest. Visually and mentally separate these 2 concepts right now.
the underlying cause of an error versus the resulting effect on the accounts. Students constantly mash these together. For instance, the cause might be an error of original entry. Say the accountant recorded a $50 invoice as $500 in the sales day book. That is the cause. The effect is how that specific misstatement ripples outward. It impacts the receivables ledger, it inflates the sales account, but critically, it doesn't unbalance the trial balance. When you are writing your 12-mark evaluation, you must explicitly state the cause in one sentence, and then systematically, in the very next sentence, detail the exact directional effect on the final accounts. Because X happened, the cause, profit is overstated by Y, the effect. This structure is exactly what examiners are trained to award top marks for.
All right, let's synthesize this entire masterclass. Back in our digital suite, Alex and Sam just had massive personal breakthroughs. Alex realized that technical knowledge needs narrative context, and Sam realized that creative arguments need structured precision. They've boiled their success down to 3 core memorable pillars, and I want you to write these down. Number 1, the 3-step question scan. Highlight the command word, identify the topic, isolate the context. Number 2, the paragraph balance formula. Every paragraph needs a cause, an effect, and a direct link to the scenario. Number 3, the last 5 minutes review checklist. Check your terminology and ensure your final evaluation actually answers the specific prompt. And here is your final exam hack. Under strict exam conditions, cognitive overload is real. Build a custom mnemonic for the limitations of a trial balance. Think of the errors that don't affect it. Omission, commission, principal, compensating, original entry, reversal. OCPCOR. Invent a crazy funny phrase using those letters, lock it in. Having that mental shortcut frees up your brain's processing power so you can focus entirely on executing the procedural framework. We have covered immense ground today. We've mapped the cognitive domains. We've walked through the step-by-step procedural framework with Alex and Sam. We've mastered the nuances of critical evaluation. And we've exposed the exact traps examiners are waiting for you to fall into. So I leave you with this final provocative question. Will you leverage the method mark strategy to secure top-tier marks on your next past paper? Knowledge is only potential power. Execution is everything. I want you to grab a Cambridge 9706 past paper right now and apply this elite framework immediately. And listen, crushing Cambridge exams requires consistent, relentless strategy. So hit that subscribe button for AC Exams IGCSE O and A levels at ACExam_IGCSE. Turn on the notification bell so you're first in line for our next exam hack. And go down to the comments right now and type your target grade. Put it out there. Commit to it. Thanks for joining me on this masterclass explainer. Keep practicing, keep analyzing, and go ace those exams.